I went on Amazon to find some praying watercolor palettes to test out, and I found two different versions. One was their student grade, which came with these 2 rows of oval palettes in a variety of colors. And then the second one was advertised as a professional artist grade brand. It had half as many palettes and they came in little square shapes, but was twice as much money. So I figured, let's go ahead and try both of them and see what the difference is. So when they both arrived in the mail, I was really excited to try them out. As you guys know, I have been on this search, this journey to find a watercolor brand. And so far, I have been just testing out tube paints. So this is my first palette that I'm trying out. So I'm going to go ahead and do some swatches of each of these palettes so you guys can see what the paint looks like. I'm going to go ahead and do the student grade first. So when I opened it up, it's this very cute palette, which one half has the paints, the other half is kind of a place where you can mix your paints. It comes with a paintbrush, which is really, really nice. And as you can see, the little pans of paint actually pop out so you can replace them. You can buy each individual color, which I think is fantastic because you know there's always that one color that you use so much of and then it runs out and you're stuck with the rest of this palette before you can go and buy a new one. So let's go ahead and swatch these out. I went ahead and started with the red and laid the color down, and then I wanted to see how well it flowed over, and I was actually pleasantly surprised at how well this student grade watercolor paints looked. Really nice, rich, vibrant color, moved very nicely across the paper. So yeah, let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit. So there are 16 different colors and I really, really liked all of them. I was really impressed with how rich and deep the black was. And I loved the light blue and the kind of tealish green color were 2 of my favorite shades. Now, just to show you a little bit of comparison, I went also to my local Dollar Tree and picked up probably the cheapest brand of watercolor paints out there. It came with one of these plasticky paintbrushes, which don't use those for anything. I don't know what you would use it for. But I'm going to go ahead and swatch these out, all except for white, because obviously the white isn't going to show up on this. And you can kind of see how much more pigmented the student grades praying palette is. So as pleased as I was with this student grade palette, you can imagine how excited I am to try out the professional brand. So again, it's half as many colors. So there's 8 different little half pans in here. And just like the other one, you can pull the pans out. So then that way you can replace each individual pan as you need. So first thing on the list is to check out the paintbrush, which I'm a little sad. The little plastic thing that they put around it, they didn't put it around it the right way. So it totally bent out a whole bunch of bristles, but really that's easy to cut those bristles off and continue painting. So let's go ahead and swatch these out. Again, the black is fantastic, super rich, super easy to activate these paints. Let's go ahead and speed through the rest of these. I noticed that the selection of colors they chose for this smaller artist professional grade palette are the same colors that they chose for one half of the student grade. But the thing I noticed is that as I was swatching out the professional set, I wasn't seeing that big of a difference. And I thought to myself, no, there's got to be a difference because it's half the paints and twice the price. Plus, I was positive that when I ordered it, it said that this one was a professional grade and the other one said that it didn't say that. And I began to think to myself, have I made a mistake here? And as I looked at both of the packagings, they're exactly the same. And you can see the proof is there. The paints are exactly the same. So I just bought 2 palettes. I think someone misadvertised the smaller ones. But with that aside, I mean, yeah, I'm a little disappointed that there's no difference and I have 2 sets of paints that I have 2 sets of paints. But of course, I want to try these paints out, test them out in an actual piece, and see what they can do. Let's take them for a test drive. For those of you who've been watching my channel over the last month, you'll know I have been doing this weekly challenge where I am creating 100 characters. And if you haven't seen the series, I'll leave a link to that series at the end of this video, so you can go check it out. But each week I draw 5 characters and then I'll let you guys vote on which character you like the best. This last round that I did, I created this one fairy that I named Rose, and I loved her design so much. So I had to draw her out for this piece, and it was nice because the 100 character challenge is really small paper, like 2 by 3 inch, so super small. So I was able to get into a lot more detail into her costume and a little bit more of her personality. I am loving how these paints are working. I highly recommend a Prang watercolor palette for anyone who is beginning watercoloring. I have a whole bunch of other watercolors that I started off with Reeves, was my first set of tube watercolor, which was a really cheap set, and I really enjoyed this, but I think I would almost recommend this Prang's palette even more than like the tube Reeves, just because the colors on this are so vibrant and really, really beautiful. Now, I don't know how well they last over time, light, fast, and all that. Probably not a thing with them because they are a student grade. But if you are interested in trying out these paints, I'll leave a link to where I purchased both sets, the larger set and the smaller set, in the description of this video. You can go check it out. And again, if you know the difference between those 2 sets, and maybe I just didn't figure it out, let me know. But as far as I can tell, the paints look exactly the same. Now, because this isn't professional watercolor paint and I just don't know how well it's going to hold up over time, I've decided not to sell the original. Also, the reason I love this picture so much, I kind of want to keep it for myself. But if you enjoy this picture, I do have this print uploaded to my Redbubble, and hopefully in the next week or so, I will also have 5x7 prints available on my Etsy shop, so you can check those out. Again, both links are in the description box below. And here is the final piece. I did go back over with a little bit of a white gel pen to kind of add a little extra highlights. I still am on my journey to test out different watercolor brands, so I have a few more coming in the mail. If you guys have any other suggestions, let me know. And if you enjoy videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future videos. And as always, God bless you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, and we'll see you in another art video. Bye-bye!